to the X-22 report. This is episode 31, News Brief, War, False Flags, and the Economic Collapse. Well, today we're looking at many different things, and the North Korean propaganda is ramping up, and Iran has come out, who's standing behind North Korea, and they're warning the U.S. of great losses if they decide to do something with North Korea. And the American people really don't want to go to war. There is nothing to be gained. They don't understand what this whole thing's about. Even though on CNN, Fox News, USA Today, all the mainstream media outlets, they keep on pushing all this North Korea, that they're the aggressors, that they're the ones who are starting this. But again, most of the American public, they're sleeping. They hear this, but they're like, well, why is this? Why would we have to go to war? The only way to bring us into a war is with some type of false flag. And there's no other way to get the people to snap up and wake up and say, you know what, we need to go to war. On Hagman and Hagman, he has a special report out from an insider telling him that there's going to be some type of strike or something happening. I put the video on this page so you can look at it. It's also in Sentinel Alerts. But you can take a look at it, and he's saying that they're telling all the Washington, D.C. people to stay because this weekend they're going to vote on something and they're going to prepare to do something. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but just take a look, listen to it, and see what's happening. But what I do know is that in order for this to work and in order for this to happen, the American people have to be moved. They have to be angered. They have to be shocked. They have to be put in a position where they have no choice to say, let's go get them. Just like in 9/11. Even though Iraq had nothing to do with it, they kind of like put us in a position where they have these weapons of mass destruction. Look what happened to the World Trade Center, and people in their minds, even my parents, when I talked to them, they were convinced that it was Iraq who brought down the World Trade Center. And when I spoke to other people from the news and the media, they were brainwashed into thinking, yes, it was Iraq who did this. That's why we have to go in there. And this is how people who are sleeping, they're convinced and manipulated, and they start thinking that this is the reason why we're going into this war. But the 9/11 moved people. It angered people. People drove their cars around with American flags on their cars. Let's go get them. Let's go get them. Something like that has to happen again. There is no other way. We cannot just go ahead and attack North Korea. It would not work. A false flag, something, again, it has to be big. It just cannot happen where it doesn't move and anger the American people to say, let's go to war. Pearl Harbor, for instance, moved and angered the people of America. 9/11 moved and angered the people of America. Right now, American people are so sleepy and, dulled down in their daily lives that they can't even see anything, outside of their daily lives. The only way to do it, actually, I even asked people, have you seen what's going on in North Korea? No, I don't even know. What do you mean? They don't even watch the news anymore. So they have no idea what's going on in the world. The only way to do it is to shock them. Boom! It happens. And now the anger builds. Now we have to go get them. And what's funny, and I know I keep saying this, but the cyber attacks, the news that's coming out now, especially like, the major computer malfunction with the Dutch too-big-to-fail banks, ING, Rabo, and SNS. I mean, there's a computer malfunction. They don't know what happened. Many of the accounts went to zero. And I'm telling you, this is a test. This is another test that they're doing, and they're going to spring this here in America. They also back in I said, you know what, let me look. Do you remember back in January 13th when the DHS came out and said that a malicious virus shuttered a U.S. power plant, but they wouldn't tell you which one it was? And just yesterday, Computer World reported that the DHS reports spear phishing in major power plants. They are leading up to this huge false flag where it's going to move and anger the people. The power outage, the stealing of the money, and whatever else they're going to throw. The attack that North Korea did this with the help of Iran and Russia and China, whatever they want to do. And it's not going to happen for one day. It's not going to happen for 2 days. It has to go on for quite a while to really piss off and anger and people to realize what happened. And when the power comes back on, people are going to scream, "Let's go to war." Now, there could be other false flags. There could be other things where, you know, I don't know if a base getting hit somewhere out in Guam or someplace else is really going to affect the American people that much. So I think it has to be more of a homegrown type of explosion, something really big. I mean, listen, 9/11, they brought down the World Trade Centers to get us to go into Iraq. What do you think they're going to do to get us into North Korea and into World War III? It's going to have to be big. Think about it. Think about what has happened all the way up to this point. The bombing in the World Trade Center in the basement, the World Trade Center coming down. 2 years later, the whole eastern seaboard blackout. I mean, think about what's been going on. The cyber attacks on all the major banks and on the power grid, them showing you news about power generators blowing up. Just lately, a power plant in Georgia just went down. They are gearing up for this huge false flag. And if you listen to everyone else, it is happening. It's a fact. I know it's hard to believe, and for those who do believe, you're right there, man. It is going to happen. It's coming very soon, much sooner than everyone thinks. They can't wait on this. They can't wait a year, 2 years. The economic collapse is accelerating at a rapid rate. It's getting harder and harder for them to slow things down. Everyone thinks, oh, Cyprus is taken care of. No way. It isn't. They have capital controls in place. You don't hear about it anymore. Everyone's view, they're telling you to look over here at North Korea. Don't look at Cyprus. Look at North Korea. Because they know it's about to crumble around everyone. You just saw the jobs report, the stock market not going back down. Things are getting harder and harder to keep in place. It's getting much more difficult for them to explain things. Like now the DHS admits that they're buying bullets. Well, they're buying bullets in bulk because it's cheaper. But they can't guard the borders of America because of the sequestration, but they have enough money to buy more bullets. Let's think about that for a sec. Everything that I went over yesterday in episode 30 about a police state, this is accelerating so quickly. They need to get this world war going as fast as they can. It is happening. It will happen not in 3 months, not in 9 months, not in a year. I believe it's going to happen the way everything's being worked out right now in the next 2 months. You're going to see something start to ramp up, and then they're going to bring it a little bit further. Then they're going to bring it a little bit further, and then you're going to see a false flag to really bring it home. Everyone, just be well, be safe, and you know what? If you haven't started getting prepared, get prepared now, because we're in for a very rough ride. It's going to be very rough, especially when the false flag comes. And let's say there is a power outage. Are you prepared to be without power and not be able to get food or money for 1 to 2 weeks? Just think about that for a second. Are you ready? Do a test. Don't go to the market. Shut your electric off. Are you ready? Can you do it? Do you have cash in the house? Do you have a way to create electricity? Do you have food that you can eat? Listen, everyone have a great weekend. Remember, Be well, be safe, be prepared, and thanks a lot.